LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. London's biggest conversation continues with Jeni Barnett.
3:03. That's 3 minutes past 3 if you're not kind of hip like I am. The Kindness Offensive is a group wearing customised high visibility jackets and coloured hard hats to perform random acts of kindness. I've talked to the man before. He's utterly sane, believe it or not. He is David Goodfellow. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
You are sane, aren't you?
I hope so.
Yes, you are. You are the creator of the Kindness Offensive. Just let me ask you, is that your real name, Goodfellow?
It is indeed, yes.
So you are like-minded, like-natured. When you were born, did you always do random acts of kindness?
No, not when I was born. It's something I've kind of grown into, I guess.
Why? How?
Why? Because it's a huge amount of fun. And, we get a lot of support from lots of different people, like the event we're doing today. And how? Just by going out onto the street and finding people who could use a bit of help and offering it.
Now, do you yourself get money for this?
No, not a penny. In fact, everyone who's working on the thing that we're doing today is a volunteer. Same with all of our other projects. We do work with corporate sponsors who kind of pay the bills, if you were, to kind of make ends meet for the stuff that we give away. In this particular instance, we're working with ING Direct, the savings bank, who have stumped up the cash for the champagne and the medals and the flowers which we've been handing out to people. Been having a great time today. In fact, I'm sitting in the Royal Festival Hall looking out over the South Bank, very near to the area, actually. I was listening to the news piece just before we came on about the chap who got assaulted near the Humberford Bridge, which is kind of nice to be kind of karmically rebalancing the area a little bit.
Karmically rebalancing. Well, now, can you kindly tell us exactly what the initiative is today of this random act of kindness offensive?
Certainly. Today we're doing the Everyday Kindness Awards. And what this is to celebrate the everyday, normally forgotten little acts of kindness that we all kind of do for one another and we all kind of rely on. These are small things like help up the stairs with a heavy bag, or your shopping bags dropping across the pavement and needing help picking stuff up, or, as we've been doing most of the morning, directions to a landmark when you're lost.
Is that is worthy of a bottle of champagne and a medal, is it, that you tell someone how to get to the London Eye?
I think so. I think occasionally we should highlight the fact that kindness should be rewarded, because it's often said that, good deeds go unrewarded and kind people finish last and all these kind of negative things about being a nice guy. So we thought we'd come out and celebrate the nice guys and make a kind of point of the fact that we need more of them and that there are loads of them out there.
When I was at drama school, I've got to tell you this, Mr. Goodfellow, we had this initiative where we would go up to people in the Bull and Bush pub and we would offer them £1. And very few people took it because they thought there was something behind it. Now, have you got that reaction?
Funnily enough, we've only had one person, and we've now encountered literally tens of thousands of people we've given stuff away to over the last year. And as far as I know, there's only been one chap who got a bit upset, but that was because it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and we were actually on our radio show, and someone said, "Can you do this live?" And we said, "Well, we're not really keen to do it," but we went and did it, and the chap felt, I think, a little bit overwhelmed by all of us in our hard hats and high-vis jackets. But apart from that one guy, no, everyone seems to really get off on it and really enjoy it.
So today you're just giving away these awards. What other initiatives have you got coming up? And how do you think them up?
How do we think them up? Well, this particular one was sparked off by a newspaper article that I read back in February about this chap who slipped down some stairs on the underground, and he fell at the bottom, and the CCTV cameras caught loads of people just walking over him until finally somebody stopped to give him a hand. So that was the kind of the beginning of this. But we think them up by kind of talking amongst ourselves, and we talk to companies. As I told you on the last time I was on, we call ourselves the phone whisperers. We phone companies up and we explain our ideas, and we say, "Have you got any ideas?" In this particular instance, ING have got this tagline that says "Saving feels good." So we called them up and said, how about we go and make the public feel good with the Everyday Kindness Awards? So it's kind of a mixture of kind of brainstorming and then, the realities of who can help us make things happen, because we're not rich guys. We can't really afford to do any of this. It's only really made possible from the help of volunteers. We've got 30 out with us today, and companies who kind of jump on board because it's a bit of fun.
But if there's about 30 of you, do you do this 52 weeks of the year, or do you have to have a proper job?
Oh, I have a proper job. You asked me this last time I was on. I'm an events coordinator, but we managed, it turns out, we were actually looking at this a couple of days ago. We do about, every 3 months we do a kindness offensive, roughly speaking, and they vary from sometimes we go into schools and kind of talk to pupils about random acts of kindness and about how they might go and brighten up their community. The last big thing we did was Pancake Day. We gave away 500,000 pancakes to a whole load of different charities, and also we went down to Ed's Easy Diner and cooked up, I think, about 3,000, which we gave out to the public, and they came into the restaurant and stuff. So about every 3 months or so.
It makes me laugh that you say you asked me this last time. The last time we spoke must have been 5 million years ago, and I've spoken to 100,000 people on the telephone. but listen, you sound like the kind of guy, I don't know whether this is just your persona, but are you this kind of guy who said you don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps?
Oh, no, I don't know about that, but I think, it's I don't know. I think kindness is something that we all have, so you don't really need anything extraordinary, because I think kindness is kind of common, and we that's what we kind of highlight with a kindness offensive, is the fact that loads of people are kind. In fact, most people are kind, and at a push like we're demonstrating today with the Everyday Kindness Awards, we've got people who are kind of struggling with small things, and members of the public are jumping in to help out, and they're kind-hearted, and they don't know they're going to get a medal and champagne and have their praises sung. They're just doing it because they're nice people.
Tell me, Mr. Goodfellow, you say that most people are kind. Many people in our society actually don't believe that. How have you maintained your lack of cynicism?
I think if you don't think people are kind, it's just because you're having a bad moment. Because if you think about your life, I presume anyway, if you think through, you've been kind to lots of people, and I'm sure that you know lots of people who have been kind. So, the reason I'm not cynical is because I've experienced it firsthand, and obviously being part of the kindness offensive, I'm right at the front line of knowing how much it's appreciated and how much people warm to it. And every time we do an outing like this, more and more people come and join our ranks and kind of get on board. So, it's kind of infectious as well.
I think it is. I mean, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. But when you say...
Thank you very much.
When you say more and more people join you, do you see a huge army of kind people growing?
I don't know about a huge army of kind people growing, but I think maybe more people wearing their kind credentials on their sleeve. I think the army's already there. It's just a bit undercover at the moment.
Do you remember, I don't know whether we did talk about this the last time we spoke, do you remember the Guardian Angels on the subway in New York?
Yeah, I think they came over here for a little bit, didn't they?
Yes,
there was
they
a few
did.
Of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
they did.
That.
I mean, and it was that extraordinary moment that if you'd be sitting on the subway in New York and suddenly a gang of young people with berets on and Guardian Angels, and you felt really safe that these guys were out there running. Have you, with your team of people, mostly blokes or blokes and women?
It's about 50-50, to be honest, and the real age range. And one interesting thing that's kind of continues to surprise me, because I never really saw it coming when we started it, it's become a bit of a family day out when we do a kindness offensive. There are lots of mothers and sons and kind of uncles and nieces, and whole families coming down to participate, brothers and sisters. So it's a real diverse mix. And I can say to anyone listening, if you feel like this might be something that you might have fun with, you're more than welcome to come join us as well.
Oh, you see, you are. There you are. Goodfellow by name and by nature. I think I might have said that last time as well. That's David Goodfellow. Thank you so much. Now, David is on the South Bank as we speak, which is not obviously it's not a million miles from here. It's only about 10-minute walk. But if you've been on the South Bank and you've recognised them down there and you've been a recipient of one of his random acts of kindness, phone me 0845 6060 973. Text me on 84850. Email me jenny@lbc.co.uk, because when we did this some months ago, it was one of the most wonderful phone-ins. I want you to telephone me with a random act of kindness that has happened to you.